After more than 3 decades as coach and several years as athletic director at Lovefuss Academic Magnet Program, Anthony Norris is hanging up the whistle and the clipboard. Though Norris will continue teaching at Lamb, Principal Matthew Monson says it is the end of an era.
Well, it's sweet and sad at the same time. Coach Norris has been a huge part of the athletic success at Lamp, first in basketball and then in softball. And he's also he is kind of part of the fabric of the school. He's been teaching here for, 19 years, I think he said. And while he's going to continue teaching, he just said it's time for him to take a step back. I'm going to miss him. I sure am. I'm going to miss him coaching our kids hard every day and doing it the right way. And, he's going to be he's going to have big shoes to fill. So our next softball coach needs to know that they're coming in with a program that's on a good, rock-solid foundation with great kids who understand the game. And don't be surprised if y'all see him cozied up next to the fence, rubbing his head, yelling and screaming at kids from the dugout. I know him too well. He's not going to disappear and run away and hide. He'll still be around.
I feel like I've been way more lucky than anything. Seemed like every sport I coached, I wound up having good players who could do tremendous things on the court and or on the field, and for whatever reason, these kids worked hard for me. So when I coached basketball, those boys had a good run, and then when I took over the girls program, I wound up getting the girls that could play, and they played hard for you. The kids I get have a totally different mindset, and they just, whatever you ask them to do, they're going to do, and never, if it's conditioning, and you tell them we fixing to run 3 more whatevers, they're going to run 3 more whatevers. I've been participants of traditional teams when I was playing, and seeing just regular guys, and if they get tired, sometimes they'd quit on you, and these kids here just don't. An example of that was Alec Pitts he was a great point guard for me, and he was going on to play some college basketball, wound up playing his college career up there at Oglethorpe University, real smart kid too. But he got to Oglethorpe. He come back and visited me one time, and he laughed. I said, how'd your workouts up there, and what they putting you through, and he started laughing. He says, Coach, the first time I went to conditioning, when we got done, the coaches pulled me into the office and set me down and wrote down the things that they asked me that we did in high school. They said they had never had a high school kid come in with the physical conditioning that he was in. Now, he played a lot of AAU ball too, but I worked those kids. I mean, we had old fire escape stairwells over there at that old Loveless building, and I run them boys up and down them steps till, it was bad. Made them jump boxes, and, one of my kids was Arthur Bruce, one of the Bruces here from in town, and he was a good athlete, hadn't played much basketball, but he had springs for legs, and we had a box that tall, the big box. Very few kids could jump on it, and I told Arthur, I said, you don't jump on my box, you jump over it. So when he got to the last box, he jumped completely over that box. So I just, I worked them now. But these kids worked. They didn't have quit in them. And that's how I've been. If I brought anything to the equation, these kids are raised at Lamp because of their academics. They've been groomed that you don't quit, you work hard. And they just carried that over to the court or carried that onto the field. And so they would work hard enough for you to become good at what they've done.
So the thing that sold me on Coach Norris as our AD is, first and foremost, he came to me and he basically said, I want it. He took the initiative to come to me and say, I can do that job, I want that job. And after watching how he ran his softball program and the success they had that year, and seeing what a good rapport he had with both academic faculty and the athletic coaches, it kind of became an easy situation for me to say, okay, I think you can do that job. Now I want to know what I can do to help you be successful. And at that point, me and him started working and talking, and we started implementing things. And I've always been impressed with his positive attitude towards everything Lamp. And I've always been appreciative of his down-to-earth sense and sensibilities and just his nature. If he has an idea and he wants you to listen to it, he's not afraid to come and bring it to you. And an athletic director and administrator, they have to have a very tight relationship like that, where when we get behind closed doors, we can say what we need to say to each other, all while keeping what's best for the kids at heart.
When Norris told Monson it was time to step back from coaching, Monson did not have to look very far to find his new AD.
Me and Rob worked together before I came to Lamp, and even then, I saw how Rob ran a program. I saw what he's done with the Children's Hoops League and kind of getting that going. And I know that his heart's in the right place. And I know he's here for kids. And I knew that on day one when I called him looking for a basketball coach. Tim, I think you said, hey, are you going to call Rob out there? And I said, Tim, I hadn't even thought about it. What do you know that I don't know? And he said, just call Rob. So I called Rob, and it was immediate that Rob was interested and I was interested, and we worked that out. And then as soon as Coach Norris came to me and said, hey, I need to let the AD go, I immediately thought I knew his replacement was right on staff. Leading our flagship program with our boys basketball, it was an easy decision for me to go to Rob and say, okay, what do you think? And I let him talk to his family about it and decide if that's what he wanted to do. And once he committed, same thing. Me and him dove right in and had some tough conversations. All right, this is what we got to do. This is where we are. This is where we want to go. How do we get there?
It comes down to just the care of the kids that we teach and around. And I saw that from afar and up close. I see how he interacts with people. He kind of has this kind of gruff persona, but he's really a kind-hearted person and cares tremendously about people. And I want to do the same. And he's done that. From my one-year experience working with him, as him being the athletic director, he's supportive of anything I've needed, wanted. He's encouraged, and I'm hopefully can do a lot of the same things moving forward with our staff here. So,
in the heat of the battle, I never let the idea that these are smart kids be used as an excuse, neither, to myself. All I knew was I had a team that I wanted to coach to be the best they could be. And I was getting after you if I thought you had more in the tank than you were giving me. And I think that's what I could read about kids. I think if there's anything about myself that I guess I could brag about, then I don't know, I reckon it's just God put it in me. But I could tell how much was in a kid and if they still had something to offer, and I would push them to that, and most of the kids, not all, but most of them would rise to that challenge. They had, and I teach my teams this all the time. That's what a coach is. It is a person who can see more in you than you can see in yourself.